All right, guys, this is going to be great, man. This has been 20 years in the making. It's only taken us 20 years to get to this. And I know what you're thinking. I've seen this guy before, maybe even twice. Guys, he goes back. We did videos with him about 10 years ago. He chefs up some stuff. He does that thing. But if you don't know him from the videos, if you've ever been to La Fortuna, you might have saw him at probably arguably the most consistent popular restaurant in La Fortuna, which is called Lava Lounge, so you might have seen him around there. And I guarantee if you came to La Fortuna, you went to Lava Lounge. But we're going to be talking to Scott about his life, how he got here. Actually, we probably need about 5 videos for him, but this is going to be the first one. We're going to get to him in a minute. Hey guys, I'm Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, please do. It really helps. And if you want to help us with the algorithms, hit the notification bell and you'll see videos as we put them up. And remember guys, if Costa Rica is on your radar, you think you might want to live in Costa Rica, but you're not quite sure, we got another relocation retreat coming up very soon. I would love to see you there. There's nobody blowing smoke. It's the good, the bad, the ugly of living in Costa Rica. And I guarantee after this 6-day event, you will absolutely know if Costa Rica is right for you. It's honey, we're going to Portugal. And all that information is in a link in the description below. Scott, thanks for talking to us.
Hey, Mike.
All right, I was going to start out, but I actually want to start like this. Tell everybody where we're at. Where are we filming this?
Oh, yeah. You're on location today, right?
We're on location.
Yeah. We are on the 3rd floor of a building that I built here a few years ago, and we're by the La Fortuna waterfall. We're on the edge of thousands of acres of virgin rainforest. We're just right here on the edge. We're actually in it. And
toucans actually do fly by.
Fly here, hang out here. We have a bunch of fruit trees just naturally growing everywhere. But what's amazing, if you were to look out that direction, you have an amazing, expansive view for miles and miles, and it's a super cool place to hang out. And my life is here because I do a bunch of cooking classes.
You do, and you know what? I forgot to add something, Scott. The reason Scott owns this building and owns Lava Lounge is because I think there was about a 7-year period of time where my drunk self was with my friends and we spent almost our whole day in his restaurant for a long time.
Yeah, you probably funded a portion of this.
I did. I should have a VIP section. What I wanted to talk, you're such a wealth of information. You got here a little bit before we did, so you've been here longer than D'Angelo and I. But I always ask people, this is always my first question, what was happening in your life that Costa Rica even got on your radar?
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get out here?
Well, I've been coming here in my 20s. I mean, I'm 56. I've been coming here since my 20s, hanging out. And then I moved here when I was 35 to start a business. Really, I didn't move here to move and get away from anything. I came to start a business, and it seemed a friend of mine was already living here, and she said, hey, come start this with me. And of course, I knew Costa Rica well, and it was in tourism. So it was just, I was at a point in Los Angeles where I was just like, hey, I was doing a lot of cool stuff, but I was also kind of, up to here with it and wanted to change. I was in that, early midlife crisis in my mid-30s and said, hey, it's not exactly what I want it to be right now. I need a big change. And so it was just an opportunity that popped up that I took advantage of. Really, I said, hey, yeah, I'll do that with you, and let's see what happens. And never imagined I'd be here 21 years later.
So opportunity knocked, and you pretty much answered that door.
Yeah.
Answered that door. But was it just, so it came out of the blue? Almost like, or it just was like a perfect timing of stuff?
Didn't really come out of the blue. It was timing. Well, her and I have been talking about it a lot and going back and forth and me considering it. And I'd been, still coming here. So it wasn't totally out of the blue, but it was out of the blue in that I'd never done anything like that before and left the country that I was comfortable in and knew, I didn't know the language. I didn't know the language. I knew the language, but I didn't know how to speak it very well. So yeah, but that was what made it exciting. So I love an adventure, and at that time in my life, I wanted that crazy new adventure. What's going to happen? There's a part of me that loves when I don't know what's going to happen. When I have a couple of new things I want to do now, and hey, should I, or is that going to work? That's almost like the question I want to not be able to answer, because it makes it more interesting.
We need to be good. If you're not going on an adventure all the time, your life is usually stagnant. You've got to conquer something. You've got to keep going, ahead. Now, I always ask people, obviously your homework and research before you came out here was because you had already been coming here. You had some sort of semblance
I had a sense of
Costa Rica. Did you understand the cultural aspects and, like, let's say, for instance, Tico time and gringo pricing and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had you don't really think about that when you're vacationing or when you're visiting. You think, oh yeah, hey, it's a little more expensive than I thought maybe, or you have your own little judgments and thoughts, but you don't know it until you're in it. And then it's a whole, it's a whole world. You're like, what? Wait a minute, what? But you know what? It was an excellent test in my patience. It made me a much more patient person. I built a lot of new skills that I didn't have before in terms of how to relate to people and how to maneuver through a challenging situation and still end up with a great result. Got a bunch of dogs, guys. I rescue dogs. So there you go. You're here in a little bout.
All right, we're not gonna. You know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and say that. So he also has a dog rescue up here. He's obviously getting really rescued right now.
Yeah, we have some volunteers here right now, so that's why.
Now I totally got. Oh,
sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack.
I got sidetracked because I get a little distracted.
Those darn dogs sidetracked.
So if it wouldn't have worked out, would you have left, or would you have just got into try to get into something more?
I think I would have left. I think I would have left if it didn't work out. Probably.
I mean, you've been pretty successful through the years with a lot of ventures you've done. So, but I'm just wondering if it wouldn't you just been like, well, I tried that. I gave it a shot.
Listen, I mean, failure. I've definitely failed. I've had businesses fail, and I've been an entrepreneur kind of type of person my whole life. And it may sound cliche, but really some of your biggest lessons are in your failure. So not that you want a lot of them, but I think a failure can precipitate a great success after if you learn enough from it.
Yeah, if you're not failing, you're not taking any risks, right? I don't know how that's going to play.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's okay. I think it's kind of fun.
All right, so how long were you? Okay, so we haven't really mentioned it. He got into a rappelling business, we'll say, and then how long were you doing that before you guys? Lava Lounge started about 16 years ago.
18.
18.
Yeah, because I started a waterfall rappelling tour, right, and did that for a few years. Started it with a business partner. Not really my passion or my idea, but I came along for the ride. So after about 3.5 years, I sold that,
which was successful.
Which is still been successful. Darn it! What did I do?
So you left success to start something else, basically, in a sense, right?
I did.
Which is kind of a rock star move if you think about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's really just about what comes from inside. And I grew up in the restaurant business my whole life. I've been in the kitchen since I was a little kid with my mom and then many other chefs after that. So that was my life. And I couldn't, when you get a dream in your head, you can't get it out. My dream was, wow, I would love to do a restaurant here. I'm surrounded by these amazing farms and all these amazing things and ingredients, fresh. So that was on my mind a lot. And, living for something that motivates you is certainly, as exciting as the waterfall rappelling tour business is, it really was something that my business partner was more, that was her thing and really what she wanted to do. And it was her dream that I was a part of. And so it worked out well that I was able to.
And she's doing good. She's still doing it too. So 18 years later. So that's cool.
Darn it. What was I thinking? No. So, but Lava's been great. I do these cooking classes up here. I used to assist a chef in Malibu, and that's really where the idea for these classes came. And so I kind of started doing that after, because again, I had the restaurant, and after a while, I'm like, okay, what's next? I'm kind of bored. I got to do something different.
If you guys don't know Scott, he doesn't sit still very long. But you know what? Just before I forget, just for a kick, we made about, I would say, at least 10 videos with him back in the day. I'm going to put some of the links down in the description. If you want to see two younger, good-looking guys when we were young, yes, I'm going to put a few of them down there just to see if I think, 10 years ago at least?
Yeah, I think it's been over 10 years.
Because you just started
they're just long enough to be super more embarrassing than if it was just less years.
Time is flying, dude.
Flying by, yeah.
So, all right, let's just go into Costa Rica a little bit. What do you love about living here? Obviously, even with success, because you could always go, I'll go back to Malibu and try to do, or do something there. So
I wasn't living in Malibu. I was working.
No, but you obviously haven't left.
Yeah.
So what do you love about, you have a very, my lifestyle is different than your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. I can sit around probably a little bit more than you can. You're always on the go. So what is it that keeps you here besides the continuing ventures you go on or the things you start or your entrepreneurial spirit? What about the backdrop of Costa Rica do you like?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lifestyle here, and so I mean, I'm a Californian at heart, and a Southern Californian, I should say, and I think that there is a certain, or there used to be a certain kind of a lifestyle there, you know.
Yeah, right.
And I feel that there's a taste of that here, so I'm able to do my businesses, work hard every day, be busy, and yet, you know, this is my uniform. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, and I have flip-flops on. So you know, it's the kind of lifestyle that I feel comfortable managing like that. So I can manage 2 or 3 businesses. I have my staff, I have the dogs, you know, we do, and but you know, I'm up at 5:30 every morning when the sun comes up, which I have been ever since I moved here. I've never woken up later than that, and so you know. It's a great country to have a full day before noon because it gets light so early, which is the whole point of farming here. They take advantage of that early light.
The Pura Vida is real here.
It is real.
Life is real.
It is real. It is real. And if you let it be, you know, you can live the Pura Vida in California or in the States, in any state, really true. But you got to learn it here.
Yeah, right.
So I learned it here.
What were you? So again, you had come here for a while, but you know, vacation is different than living here. When you were coming here traveling, it is different from living here.
Sure.
So when you got here, was there anything like you were surprised of, or that you kind of weren't? Oh, wow, I didn't know this was like this. Was there anything you kind of got caught off guard with? Like maybe, again, not to do cliches, but you know, Tico time can be somewhat difficult to.
I probably had less issue with any of the Tico time issues and like things taking a little bit longer. You know, just probably the hardest part for me, you know, and I even tell people that want to, you know, it is a different lifestyle. You know, you don't have the kind of access here to, you know, you can't go to the mini mart around the corner and get that, you know, the plethora of products that are, you know, that we have in the US everywhere. And so there is a real adjustment because you come here and there's that feeling of there's not enough, or there's where, until you learn that, oh, hey, well, maybe I don't need those things. Maybe I don't. And that's what I learned. My whole product list changed because I said, oh, okay, well, that's harder to get. Oh, wait, here's a great, wow, this is actually a better product. This is more natural. This is local. So it really turned my whole life around, made me, listen, I'm not a health nut or anything like that, but I am, you know, I like keeping my body healthy. It's easy in this country to stay healthy. I don't eat out of boxes or cans because I don't have to, because there's fresh food and ingredients
right there.
everywhere, right there. And really, you know,
but you're right.
When I get sick, I drink hot ginger tea, you know, just try to, and of course you don't need to be in Costa Rica to do that, but they're so focused on that kind of health and recovery here too. I feel like that type of wellness here. It's all macrobiotic and that kind of thing, and I love that part of it. So.
You're kind of right. I mean, there's no Amazon drone dropping some spice over at your house, because you, especially being like a chef and stuff. I mean, you're probably looking, because I remember when you were, you know, figuring out your menu, not even necessarily at Lava Lounge, but doing your chefing class.
Yeah.
You know, trying to. How can I do this thing, fusion kind of thing you were trying to do, but you need this, you need that, and trying to work that whole menu?
Yeah, well, a menu is a challenging thing because, you know, it's all very exact, you know, in a way for me, and it's all, well, when I have a class, it's all about timing. So some people will ask me, oh, hey, do you change up your menu a lot in the class? And so, yeah, I have different menus, but each one is so specifically planned out to match the timing and the amount of people that I'm going to have and all of that. So there's a lot of. I forgot what the question was.
Oh no, I was just saying, kind of the Amazon doesn't drop you. You know, you're trying to figure out your menu without maybe having access to certain things that you would.
Yeah, but you have access to more. That's what's great about it. Because
I guess
then
you do.
Your mind opens up, and that's what happened with me. So in my menus and stuff.
Utilizing like the Costa Rica's.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like I do things in my class. I had a farm to table group here the other day. We have an organic farm we work with, and so they were here, and you know, I was just we do ginger garlic chicken on the grill. We do this, you know, passion fruit dressing on our side. We do this whole farm fresh stuff and make, you know, malanga chips and everything. But I was like, oh, we got this garlic ginger chicken. I got bored with it. I love fruit, you know. So we had brought all these carambolas, star fruit, from the farm, so organic star fruit. And usually we do juice with it. And I was like, hey, So I threw it all in the blender, and I did a garlic ginger starfruit sauce on our chicken. It was amazing, and people loved it. So I love to have that kind of, like, because with fresh ingredients, you can do anything. You know, I feel like as a chef, I'm like, listen, if it's fresh and it's good, it's hard to go wrong. You know what I mean? Mixing flavors.
Did you know before you came here? I mean, I knew Costa, tropical things grow here. But man, I did not know the fruits existed. I was I was eating stuff. I still, to this day, I come across, not as much as I used to, come across stuff I've never had before.
Never seen or had.
I was like, what is this?
It's exciting.
I
love cooking with that stuff. And I love, in my classes, we use a lot of fruit. You know, it's tropical fusion. People are always blown away by, wow, I'm eating, papaya and pineapple on a seared pork dish, and there's, and it's not fruity, there's a lot of other elements in there as well. And so, and fruit's exciting, and it's fun, and it's beautiful, and it's great to cook with, and it's flavorful. So I do a lot of bringing it into my main courses, not just a dessert fruit salad and, or a little decoration. So we actually bring it in as the main element. And there's so many amazing fruits.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think people are aware of all the fruits. It's crazy. So if you had to, let's go back a little bit to where, the things that you, maybe even almost bullet point them. So you you learned to manage the Pura Vida. You obviously love the fruits and what Costa Rica offers that way. Is there any other things on your list that you go, if you left Costa Rica, things you would miss?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there are things. Well, I miss Costa Rica in general, because when I come back, I feel like I'm getting home again. So I know when I'm landing on the plane, I feel, I feel like that relief of like being home that everyone feels when you kind of get back from whatever trip you're on, because it always feels good to get home. So I have that sense of Costa Rica.
You've been here a long time.
Yeah, I've been here a long time. Yeah. But in terms of, what was the question again?
No, just bullet point some of the highlights that if you left Costa Rica.
Oh yeah,
your best things about the.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best things about Costa Rica is I just think living in a natural state, being around nature, such an integral part of my environment here around me. I'm living almost in the forest here. This is like almost a tree house I have. My main house is all windows, and just so for me, that kind of connection to nature keeps me healthy. And just keeps me super connected and healthy, and a sense of, more of, I don't know who I am, in a physical sense.
It's funny because I agree with you, because Costa Rica, no matter what's going on personally in your life, Costa Rica gives you the backdrop, to chill. You know what I mean? It's like in the back, you're not on the hamster wheel here. It slows you down. You can reflect, you can appreciate, you can find the great, everything. I don't think people understand. I say it a lot in my videos about, it's just the backdrop of Costa Rica, just being in this.
Well, it's interesting that is true. But what there was for me, the toughest thing in the beginning, it was making that adjustment.
Right, exactly.
To accepting that, to just being able to be, because I'd like type A, SoCal guy,
type A, and that's
go
true.
in, I'm like, hey, so let me tell you this, and and you do that to
if you added another teller, we could get this banking stuff done.
Yeah. Listen, I can easily give you guys a little system that'll help you move these people quicker. No, but I mean, if you start talking to someone, like maybe you have an employee, I've got a lot of employees, so maybe I'll go talk to one, and but you have to take the time to say, hey, how are you? How's your family? Hey, listen, you might even many times preface your question with letting them know, I'm going to ask you a question. Hey, I have a question for you. That's very, very common and very considered, the thing to do here. And it's something that I had to learn that helped me as a person build that kind of patience. And it also, it helps you, it makes you take the moment to say, hey, how are you?
Right.
And to really take a moment, not just be, hey, I need you to get on this. So that's kind of what, it's done a lot of things like that for me, just to help me kind of, as a human, just kind of be more in a natural place. I'm not sure I'm making sense, but just kind of.
No, you're making sense to me, because I did the same thing. Because look if I take myself back to 18, 19 years ago.
Yeah, you're a different person. So was I.
I was a train wreck.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't a train wreck, but I was a train wreck in some ways. It's always, we look back and we say that.
Well, it's funny. What you're, a lot of the stuff you've been in, doing so much business and stuff. You almost had to learn to be chill, because if people don't know, Costa Rica can be a little. You're jumping through a lot of hoops. Jumping through a lot of hoops. Starting a business, a lot of red tape.
It seems like unnecessary red tape.
because it is Scott.
Yeah.
But we're cool with it
Seems
now.
like-
We're just cool
Yeah.
with it now.
Yeah, it's like you accept it.
If you could change, all right, we're not going to go negative on this at all. But if you could change one thing, you could twist it like, well, Costa Rica could, turn it up a notch on this thing that might be a little better.
It would just be the roads, really, truthfully. If there was just like a physical thing like that, I would say, yeah. And that being said, the roads are way better than they were 20 years ago. But there's still a lot of work to be done. And I probably the thing that I wish they were better at, which probably, and it's not a criticism because in the States we're not good at it either. And that's, with the dog rescue and the care and that kind of stuff. So, but I do see the mentality here totally growing, and people love their dogs and keep their dogs inside.
It's gotten better a little bit, hasn't it?
It has definitely gotten better. I see people with leashes on their dogs more and things like that. So the street dog issue is really not near as bad here as it could be, and as it is in many other Central American countries, because this is a very open-minded place and there's a lot of influence from expats, and so there is a lot of dog rescue and a lot of attention on dogs, and I definitely see the mentality change culturally, in my opinion, that I've seen.
Oh no! Do you remember 20 years ago when you would have to stop by a house and go, you know what? Maybe a leash that's like 10 feet instead of tied up to the door and they can't move, and you're like, are you serious?
Well, there's a lot of people like that in the States as well too. I'd have to say. I mean, there's people that abuse, and I think here it's not even so much of abuse. There's just they're on some level, and it's everywhere. There's a certain lack of education on, hey, or an ignorance of, hey, how can I be?
They used to be kind of a dog is a dog mentality.
Yeah, or dog is here to protect my house.
Now it seems
it's
more
only here to bark. Yeah, so I think
more
a lot of people
oriented.
Yeah.
So do you ever see yourself going anywhere else? I mean, have you ever thought, okay,
to live or to do something? For sure, yeah, of course. I think about a different place every day. I have like.
I wish they could realize how much you really do.
I have like a lot of different things I'd like to do. I'm not going to do them all, but there's definitely some things I want to still do, and other countries come into mind. That being said, I don't know that I'd ever like leave Costa Rica per se.
I couldn't.
I might, be in another place a lot, but I'd always want to come back and have my layer here, So.
Yeah, kind of like yours. Well, you're living over here, right?
Yeah, my house is here on this property. I have the dogs on the property, and I have this building, which is 3 stories. I have a restaurant on the first 2 floors, and then this gourmet kitchen where I do my cooking classes.
Yeah, I can't wait to put the links to that vid, because I'm going to put the cooking class in the link.
Okay, yeah.
So they're going to see all that.
Yeah.
Well, I like that.
But you don't have any from this building.
All the ones are from
all the old building. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. You've done good stuff.
You may have to do a link to. I don't know. I may have to give you a link.
Yeah. And don't you have a cookbook?
I'll give you a link to the website.
Don't you have a cookbook?
Yeah, I do have a cookbook. Yeah.
Jesus, Scott, slow down. Yeah. You're making the rest of
the cookbook. I did a ways back. Yeah,
Chad GPT.
I'm ready to do another one. That's another little project.
Chad GPT with the cookbook.
Yeah, right. That'd probably be easier, right? I could just get it done.
Well, I thought we didn't reintroduce Scott, and you know what? I feel we're going to be talking to him again because he's got like 3 or 4 more chapters. Because what I really would like to do is kind of maybe do a little bit deeper dive on your businesses and kind of how you kind of not the too intricate of the process, but some of the things you had to deal with, what you kind of did, maybe give some pointers to people that if they thought about doing business, they might have to be aware of. So I would love to do that video.
Yeah, I love talking about business, and I get a lot of, in a lot of the lounge hour, people come in and, we'll get to talk about, oh, wow, okay, yeah, what, of course you have questions because people are interested.
Well, I know they meet you and they're like, you're doing this thing in Costa Rica. I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah. I get you're living my dream a lot. I get that you're living my dream. You're living my dream.
And then we just go, I know.
We are.
Right. All right, Scott. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, Mike, it was great. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, let's talk soon.
All right, guys. I'm Michael Allen, TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Hey, things are going to pop up. If you're thinking about living or traveling anywhere, always do your homework and research. And if it has anything to do with Costa Rica, I'm going to put my videos up against anybody's. Ciao.
Peace out.